This is the Projekt Gemineye Update, your source for all things Projekt Gemineye. Brought to you by Riffical Records. And here's your host, Mark Anthony K. Greetings, friends, and welcome to episode 207 of the Projekt Gemineye Update. I am back. Hasn't been that long, I don't think, but I'm back with some good information, some interesting information, I hope, for you guys. Now that I've started receiving some messages from people overseas saying that they've started to receive their albums now, I'm starting to feel a lot more comfortable about moving forward with the next Projekt Gemineye album. So this video is going to be talking a little bit about the new record. So the new record that's going to be coming out is called What's on Your Mind. I've kind of labeled this as the second of the two What albums, because the record before was called What's on Your Mind. Sorry, it was called What Lies Beyond, excuse me. And this album is called What's on Your Mind. So they're both What albums. They don't really have they're not like any sort of conceptual thing, but it is kind of interesting because the whole premise of the lyrics on this one are just sort of songs exploring the human mind and how it kind of works. I mean, I've once read, no, actually it wasn't, I didn't read this. I actually saw a documentary or I think it was a program here in Canada called Nova. I'm not sure if it's in America as well. They have it's like a scientific show, and they were talking about how human beings tend to like to overstretch themselves sometimes, where they, we like to go and explore space, and we want to go like to Mars and stuff like that. And where this gentleman was saying that humans will want to venture off into space, yet we've hardly explored much of our planet here on Earth, right? That, for example, the oceans are still yet highly unexplored. Now, of course, the ocean bottom, the ocean floor, is so deep that I don't think man could go by, down right now with the technology we have without getting crushed to death down there. But, I understand what he's saying, that, we as a species tend to, instead of exploring what we have right in front of us, we tend to go and want to go further out or go try to further unreachable sometimes. And this album kind of talks about, the human mind and the condition and what sort of different things, people think about or what people reflect on and stuff like that. Hence, What's on Your Mind. This album has 6 songs on it. So there's a little bit more songs this time than on the last album. The last album had 5, and they were long songs. But this one has 6. There's 1 instrumental track on this album, and there isn't a real huge epic on this album this time. Still, it's almost like a 40-minute record still, regardless. I think I've written a 5-minute song maybe once or twice, and I think one of them is on this album. I think the instrumental's like 5 minutes long. But my comfort zone for writing seems to be 7 minutes, maybe 8 sometimes, as a sort of, normal sort of writing length for me. So there's 6 songs on this album. The first one is called The Circle of Life. Now, if you've been a long time Projekt Gemineye supporter, and if you've bought some of my CDs before and bought some of the bonus content that I've put out, like the alternate mixes and stuff like that, CDs, this song might seem familiar to you because I did have a version of it that I put out on, I believe it was the last album's bonus tracks. But this version of it is different than the one that's on there. Sonically, especially, it's much different. So it's not like you're going to be hearing this. It's not like the same song is going to be on the bonus tracks and this. there's also a song on here called The Moment. Now, this is an interesting song because I'm not sure if this one appeared on a bonus track thing at all. I don't think it did. But what makes this one really important to me is that this was written back in the book 3 time of songwriting. It never made it to any albums simply because I didn't have a place for it within the story. Like, because it was a concept record. I didn't have a place for it. I was going to say not a use for it. There's always a use for a good song, in my opinion. But I didn't know where to place it, so I left it off. Now, one of the great things about this song is that David Donnelly plays bass on this one. So this is going to be the only guest that's going to be on this record. David Donnelly will be playing bass, or has played bass on this song called The Moment. The third song on it is probably the longest song on the album, I believe. It's called Searching for the Light. This is sort of a look at a guy who's had a bit of problems in his life. And basically, look, the whole concept of searching for the light is pretty simple. While it does speak in specifics, basically the lyric that's in the chorus sums it all up. When we're in our darkest hours, we're always searching for the light, which everybody does. When you're at your lowest low, you're always trying to find a way, looking for that bit of light to pull you out of it. The next song is called The Little Chair. This is sort of a look at somebody, or somebody reflecting back on their childhood, some of it good, some of it bad. What does the little chair mean? Well, you'll have to listen to the song to figure out what the little chair stands for. The next song is The World on Edge. This is a song, again, which I've been lately, for the last album or two, I've been really getting into a lot of world issues and stuff like that. We live in a time now where, there's a lot of people on this planet, and, there's a lot of things that could be improved, It's not a finger-pointing song. I always look at my songs as sort of songs of awareness, and what, if you don't talk about things, then things never change, right? So I like to bring up things and hope that sometimes it sparks, change in people or the world in general. And the last song is called The Wandering Mind. It's the instrumental track of the album. I've always said it before that my instrumental tracks I kind of view as when you go to a movie, and when the movie's done and they're rolling the credits at the end, my instrumentals are kind of meant to be like that. They're sort of like a music to kind of ease you out of the record, saying, okay, the record's done. Here's some of the music to kind of make you, pick up your coat and grab your things and get ready to leave. And that's kind of how I look at my instrumentals, because I always kind of place them at the end of a record. So there you go. 6 songs, 40 minutes. I have to say, though, and I'm going to make this point very clear this time, that this album, I think, has sonically really gone a step up. And there's been a few reasons for that. I know, every musician said, this is my best sounding record, it's my best sounding record. The writing, I think, is very good. It's more concise to the point. Some good. I've really been happy with my guitar solos that I've done on this. I think the singing has been really, really good. It's stepped up a bit, And I think with every record, I've been getting better with the vocals. Like I said, vocals was never my first thing. I've always been a guitar player first and foremost. But I've gotten much more comfortable with singing, and it's really become something that I love to do now. And I think it's starting to show. Now, sonically speaking, like I was saying before, there is going to be a vast improvement that you're going to notice. Now, number one, I credit that for a few different things. Number one, over here, you can't see it, but I bought a SSL2 audio interface. SSL, as you know, is the solid state logic company, which makes some of the world's best mixing consoles in the world. I think they said at one point 90% of the music that you heard on the radio was mixed on an SSL console. So there you go. So I really improved my digital audio interface here. So that really helped a lot when it came to recording everything, including the keyboard, as you see behind me here. That's another thing that I finally done. I finally got myself a proper keyboard stand, so I can keep all my keyboards set up at all times and always patched into my mixing console. So no more of this, plugging this one in, plugging that one in. It was a lot of time consuming and stuff like that. Now, whenever inspiration strikes, I have both keyboards readily available for me to use at any time. I do have another keyboard lying over there. They did have a 3-level one, but that would have been like, a little tricky to do in this position here. But I'm more than happy with this setup right now. And another very important thing as far as guitar playing goes, and even bass playing wise, is the purchase of this. Now, I'm not sure how many people follow music gear on the internet and stuff like that, but if people who do might recognize this, this is the Universal Audio Aux Stomp box. Well, essentially what this is it's a dynamic speaker emulator. Excuse me. Now, if you take a look closely at there, you'll see those little switches. It says dynamic, condenser, and ribbon. Those are 3 different types of microphones. And you'll see here at the bottom, these switches here, says mic 1, mic 2. These are 2 separate microphones. In the middle are different types of speaker configurations that you can use. Like, for example, they have like a 412 cabinet with 25-watt Celestion speakers in them, or you can have a 212 cabinet with different speakers in it, or a single 12. So there are different sort of configurations of speakers that you can switch to. And the microphone, these volumes are how loud each microphone is. So you can get like a dynamic microphone, like a Shure 57 microphone on one side, adjust the level of it, and on this side you could put like a ribbon microphone on there and adjust the level of it and intermix it, because lots of professional recordings are done with multiple microphones, and this emulates that. Up here you have this, I believe, is the room, so they can give you an amount of a proper isolated room where you can put a cabinet. This is how much of that space is in the sound. This is how old you make the speakers. Like, the more you add this, the older the speakers will sound, which is a thing, believe me. And then this is just the output. Now, why this is important is because, like, I have a line 6 pod, I have a certain other pedals that I use, and when you plug those all into this thing, it simulates like you're playing through a cabinet. And what's different about this is you'll hear the term IRs, which is an impulse response. Impulse responses are good, but basically that's just like, imagine taking a photograph of a sound. Like, you're playing through a Marshall, and an IR is like a snapshot of that sound at that moment. So if you hit a chord, it takes a picture. That's what the sound is like. But now when you play with that IR, that type of speaker sound will always be present. Whereas this thing is an emulator, which basically means it gives you that sound in the speaker, but as you keep playing, it'll keep changing with the nuances of your playing. The harder you pick, the softer you pick, it changes. So the technology is far superior to any sort of impulse response that you can have in any of the other stuff. So, long story short, for you people who are probably like, what the hell is he talking about? This thing made my guitar sound infinitely better. Let's just leave it at that. Okay, and it also helped with the bass because I have an Ampeg DI box, which is fantastic, but plugging it into this gave the bass a great, fantastic sound as well. Like, the different speakers I could simulate with the bass amp, fantastic. Now, anyways, getting back to the record, the guitars sound fantastic on this record. Same with the bass, and also I did a major upgrade on my drums as well. Some better sounding snare drums on this album. In fact, I think I just used one snare on this whole record. A 14 by 6, yeah, 14 by 6 snare drum. I believe it's called an Orange from it's like a boutique sort of snare drum sound. But it sounds great. I'm really happy with everything that I used on this record, and I hope you're going to enjoy it. Now, what I should also let you know is that I will start the pre-order of this, and that the pre-order is going to be for the digital and for the CD right now. The pre-order will start on Saturday, February 17th. I will put 2 songs up available to download or to listen to while the pre-order is happening. That will be The Circle of Life and The Little Chair. Both will be available to listen to. And I will also leave a couple of two 20-second clips of each song here at the end of this video for you to check out. So let's listen till the end. And other than that, forward and onward. There will be vinyl, of course, for this as well, but as usual, I would like to get the CDs out of the way first. As you know, sending stuff out sometimes takes time. Luckily with the CDs, they don't seem to take as long to get made and to get shipped out. It's a lot easier format to deal with initially, but the vinyl will get done as well. And I will start to pre-order for the vinyl sooner than later too, because like I said, this year my goal is to release 2 albums this year, and I already have the other album already done. I believe that's it as far as talking about this. Of course, when I do the next video will most likely be the video for the pre-order, just letting you know what the cost is going to be and the shipping and blah 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 blah, all that stuff that usually comes with the pre-order video. This video is just mainly to tell you that I'm going forward with the next record, telling you a little bit about it, and leaving you with 2 samples of 2 of the songs for you guys to check out. So that's it for now. I hope you guys are all doing well, and I will talk to you guys all very soon with the next video. Bye for now.
There's nothing left to prove. Now I see another choice ahead. This one, it leads to comfort and rest. This one is easy, the simple life it gives.